Good afternoon, everybody. MG here. MGCovers bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video is a Week 7 Canadian Football League sports betting preview. We're going to talk about the basic fundamentals of handicapping football. It's going to be applicable to NFL, so it'll be a great little lesson in handicapping NFL, which we're, 3 months away from that. And also, we're going to review last week. Before we do that, as always, this is your first time watching one of my videos, hey, greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. A lot of chatter from the last video I made, which was really cool, and greatly appreciate everybody chiming in and commenting on that video. And so you get a lot of value simply by following me and subscribing to the channel. If you want to follow me on social media, MGCovers, covers spelled with a Z, put out a lot of content on my Instagram as well. All right, let's dive into this video. What we're going to do first, we're going to look at last week's lines, and I'm going to use last week's lines as a teaching point. The main point, if you're taking notes or want to learn about NFL, the most important numbers in NFL are the 3 and the 7. Why is that? About 18% of the games will end in a 3, a margin of 3, meaning 20 to 23, 27, 24. Or the second most popular margin of victory in NFL is a 7, and then everything in between. So, well, just remember that key numbers 3 and the 7. So most games will end in a 3. Most second margin of victory that comes up most frequently is the 7. So let's dive into last week, and we'll use some teaching points. Okay, so let's take a look at this Edmonton Montreal. So our line is Montreal -1, and we actually Montreal lost that one by 1. And if you look at the sports books had, let's go back to this here. Okay, we had Montreal -1.5, and the sportsbook line had Montreal -8. So we were getting, so the way I handicapped this game was going to be a pretty tight game via my power rankings, right? So when you look at the sportsbook line, this line was 8. This is a very significant line. Why is that number an 8? It's outside of the 3 and the 7. So what do we already know about handicapping NFL or CFL? Very difficult to beat a team by more than a touchdown. So when you're getting 8 points, and the fact that our number was only -1.5 Montreal, this definitely leaned hard in favor of playing the Edmonton side, considering you were getting +8 points there. So in that particular case, that was the play Edmonton. So hopefully that makes sense. Our line had this game really close. You were getting 8 points. Now, let's say if you were getting maybe +3, that really wasn't enough margin between the sportsbook line and our line to justify a play. So let's take a look at the next one here. Calgary, Winnipeg. We had Winnipeg -1. Oops, that's out of the screen. Let me see if I can scoot this over. Nope, I can't. I think if I do it this way. Yeah, there it pops up. Sometimes this site kills me here. Okay, here we go. So we have, in this particular game, Winnipeg was -3.5. And you look at my line was Winnipeg -3.5 sportsbook. My line was Winnipeg -1. So there's not enough differential. We need to see at least a 3-point differential between my line and the sportsbook line to justify a play. Here we only have 2.5, so it's really tight. And I would say maybe even more than the 3. So that would have been a no play. All right, so let's look at the other game there. My line was Ottawa -3.2 sportsbook line, and this one was same as that other game we mentioned. So Ottawa was +8 here. You look at my line was -3, so that's basically about a 11-point differential. And again, in this particular scenario, there's scenarios when you do play the money line, and I'm going to talk about that. But in this scenario, considering you're getting the 8, The reason that's important, again, very difficult to beat a team by more than a touchdown. Now, it does happen, but we're playing the most probable outcomes when we're handicapping. So if our line basically says, hey, Ottawa has a chance of winning this game and they're going to give us 8 points, then we're going to take those 8 points. And they lost, but they covered. And then finally, the last one here, I struggle to say this, Saskatchewan. That's such a tough word for me. Toronto, we had Toronto as a dog plus 6.5, and I think this is the one that we ended up losing here. Yeah, so Toronto was... Yeah, so we had this team at minus 6.5, and sportsbooks were getting minus 2.5, so we had a 4-point differential, so that one was counted as a loss. But still, really solid week for this model. Now, I'll go ahead and cover this point. When do you play the money line in NFL? Or CFL? The team that wins, you didn't see it there, but the team that wins a large majority of the time, I would say around 70% of the time, the team that covers 70% of the time will also win. So a lot of times when that line is really small, like if you're getting a +3, maybe even a +4, more times than not, especially long term, advantageous to play that team on the money line, especially if you're getting +2.5. You should never take 2.5 points or a +2 ever. There's no situation ever. The reason being is because what's the first number, most important number? It's the 3. So that game is most likely, at a minimum, going to end in a 3-point differential. So you taking the 2.5 does you no good. So you're better off playing that team on the money line. The only exception to that would be, let's say if a team is +1. Well, you might take the points in that scenario, because if you play that team on the money line, they're not going to give you, quote, dog money. You might go to the money line. The money line might be -110. Well, if you take the +1 on the spread, you're probably going to get around the same type juice. So it's advantageous in that situation to go ahead and take the +1, because playing it on the money line is going to be a juice line anyway. Hopefully that makes sense if you need to watch this several times. I went through that kind of fast. All right, so let's take a look at my lines for this week. We have Ottawa favored, BC favored, the team I can't pronounce favored, and Winnipeg -4. So let's pull up here and we'll just do we got one of these games going off tonight. So we have Montreal and Ottawa, 2 bad teams via record. Montreal 1-4, Ottawa 0-5. Have Ottawa +2.5 here. Let's take a look at my line. Ottawa is -2.5. So we do have some value there on Ottawa. And again, this is a prime example of playing a team on the money line. So really all we're doing in this game, we're just picking the winner. Who's going to win the game? So if you think Montreal is going to win, and that's probably bad to say think, but because that's not really handicapping. So it's really, in essence, either going to be Ottawa money line or a no play. And let's see if they post the money line. They're not posting the money line here. Let's see if we can get it. I don't want to give away. Let's go to sportsbook review. What in the world? Did sportsbook review crash here, y'all? Wow, I just found that out. Wow, that site looks like, oh, let's wait a second. Let's see something here. 1 second, sorry for the delay. Okay, it came up. Whew, we got it. All right, let's see if they have CFL here, and we'll see if we can get a money line. Wow, no CFL lines. Let's run over. Anyway, sports. CFL, I saw it. Okay, this is interesting. So you see here. Okay, that's on the money line. Let's see if we can get. That's spread. Wait a minute. Let's back up there. Okay, there we go. Boom. So you can see there. So again, that plus 2.5 is not really going to help you. So you're better off playing this and look what you're getting if you play it on the money line. Plus 140. Some books got it at plus 148. So you're getting a ton of value there. So that's really the play. And even if this line would move to, say, a 3, if you were going to play it, I still would say play this on the, play it on the money line. Because long term, if you win 50% of those games, you'll come out ahead and be profitable long term. That's basically what I call a 50-50 game. Made a ton of videos on that one. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this other game that's going to go off tonight. Hamilton at BC. They have BC at minus 11. They're 3-1 on the year. Hamilton is at plus 11. You can see my line has BC minus 5.5. Now, these games like this, you've heard me talk about this in baseball. If BC is a favorite at the sports book, they're also a favorite via my line. More than likely, they're going to win, right? And what do we know about teams that win? Majority of the time, if a team wins, they're going to cover. However, that is a large amount of points. The way that I would personally cap this game, this will be a no play the way that I cap. Not unless I handicap this situationally and saw that we had a lot of situational angles in our favor for Hamilton. That would probably end up being a no play. Let's see if we can take a peek at, if we get some line movement here. Yeah, and this line looks like it's moved hard against Hamilton here. It was at 8. Now it's moved all the way up to 11. So, and CFL is a niche sport, so I don't know that I would trust line movement per se, because there's not going to be enough money that comes into the sport to, quote, correct a line. So I don't know that I would trust line movement like I would in, say, a sport like NFL. So for me, the way I would cap that would be a pass. All right, let's take a look at Winnipeg and Edmonton here. My line for this one, we have Winnipeg minus 4 and Winnipeg at the books minus 7.5. So same type scenario. Again, that would probably, for me, be a no play. We would look to Winnipeg to win this game, but considering where the line is, where my line is, that would probably be a pass. If I leaned on anything, again, it would probably be Edmonton, just simply because understanding the number is difficult to beat a team by 7. It's the same deal up here. If you absolutely made me play this game up here, I would play Hamilton here. All right, and finally, the big game there with Toronto and the team I can't pronounce, Saskatchewan. I think that's correct, right? They are minus 2.5. Toronto visitors at plus 2.5. My line is home team minus 4.5. So again, not really that much value there. You might want to monitor that line, because I think between what's the day is Thursday, so you have 3 days of line movement. Maybe that line comes down. But yeah, that's a really, really, really tight line. But if I did lean, I would lean on that side simply because it's 2.5. They're not going to win the game by 2.5. If they win, they're going to win by 3 minimum. Statistically should, and considering our power rankings have them at a minus 4.5. That's kind of the play there. So anyway, hope that helps your CFL handicapping. One other thing to note, we started tracking WNBA power rankings. Right now, the model is 4-1. I've just tracked it for the last 2 days. I read on Twitter a lot of sharps are having a lot of success. WNBA, a niche sport with not a lot of action, so the books are not going to lay, quote, good lines, so you can exploit some of those. We'll continue to track that. If you're a client, you get access to those, as well as CFL, Major League Baseball, and soccer for $49.95 per month. There's a link to join in the description box. You also get access to all my coaching videos, I have over 160 coaching videos in the vault that you have access to as a client that you can't see on YouTube. And if you want access to everything I just mentioned, in addition to all my plays, having a really solid month, that's $99 per month. You get access to everything, including my plays. And if you want to join for an entire year, that's the best value. It's a good time to join coming into football season here. $4.99, you save about $600 on the year. Hope this video helps, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.